Good morning,
Good.
everybody.
Sorry. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Marketing Show. Once again, I'm Kane Tapp, filling in for Marketing Max. She's Ruthie Rocks, and this is show 246. Interesting
Amazing.
fact, 246 is my lucky number.
That's amazing, huh?
Yes. I certainly feel lucky today living in Las Vegas. We're going to start off with the MLS stats, and then we have a film festival winner for the Rocky Mountain International Film Fest for best US Screenplay. Hey, Frank, good morning. And we're going to talk about her screenplay.
And we're not going to reveal her name yet because she's local in our industry. Let's get to the stats.
That's what we call building suspense.
Right. So we've sold, we've done 6,688 available listings, of which we crossed over the 5,000 mark. We're at 5,035 available single-family homes, which makes me very happy. And congratulations, we had 163 closings yesterday. That is so awesome. That's 50% more than the previous day. And we put 116 under contract, which is another good thing. And we listed 181 homes. Unbelievable numbers, everybody.
That's
now, here's what I'm really excited about. Look what I highlighted. For the year, we went under the 12% mark. We're down only 11.9 from last year. But the really good news is I have been saying and predicting that July was going to get into the green numbers and out of the red. And we are to 1.3. We are down only 1.3%. Or is that 1.3? Yeah, 1.3% from last July. So we are just knocking them dead here, everybody. We are closing those deals and we're going to get in the green territory and we're going to stay in the green the rest of the year. And that's going to put us ahead of what Dr. Young said, which is that our market for the year may be down 10%. I don't think Vegas is going to go down 10% by the end of the year. That's my next prediction. So everybody should be really jazzed about these numbers. What do you think, Kane?
I think it's great. A lot of people out there, they talk about, the crash, and, things going down. Good morning, Leslie. But everyone we work with is pretty positive about things. I know you're positive about it. People in our office are positive about it. So these numbers are very encouraging, don't you think?
Yes.
And, as long as we keep going up and the trend keeps going like this, we're going to be okay.
Yes, we're going to be okay. And Dana, congratulations to you and good morning. I know Dana's out there working hard. And Leslie, I know you're on fire too. You said that you're not, you've got deals going. You're so busy. And Larissa.
Larissa.
Yes, love Larissa. So let's put the stats down. And as people come on, we'll say hey to y'all. If you have anything to say, put it in the comments, like how you think the market's going. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Give us a like or a love. So Facebook puts us out there and we get more popular. That would be cool.
Good morning, Karen.
And Karen, how's the market going for you? Write something in the chat about what you think of the market. Karen is a great broker with Advantage Realty. She owns it, and broker owners work so hard, nobody has any idea. And there's a reason why they call us broker, right? Right, Karen?
You don't make money.
You don't make a lot of money being the broker. So it's a labor of love, everybody. It's just a labor of love. Okay, so without further ado, let's get our guest on. So you want to give her a drum roll? We'll get back to that. Okay, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. It's Cammie.
Hey,
Hi, Cammie. How are you?
Good morning.
And you are our Rocky Mountain Film Festival winner, and we want to hear all about that. And I'm going to switch positions. we go. There you go. Now you're in the middle. You're in the sandwich.
All right. Yeah, so you won Best US Screenplay at the Rocky Mountain International Film Festival for your screenplay Abandoned. That's very exciting.
Yeah, you know, when you do film fests and you're an indie writer, one of your avenues into the business are film fests. And so I wrote this screenplay between 2018 2019, and I've been putting it out there. I've been finalist, semi-finalist in film fests. This was only my second award. I won a judge's special mention this year, and this was my first actual win. You get included. Like, I just got an official selection yesterday, and that's a lot more common. But to get it is a small festival, but to me, it doesn't matter. A win is a win. In that world, in screenwriting, you probably have a better chance of being in the NBA. But you know that it's one of my first loves when I was a little girl. It's all I could think that I wanted to do is write. So I had a life coach, and she said to me, the only way you're going to fail is if you don't put it out there. And she's actually the reason. This is my second screenplay. I wrote another one, and it didn't really do much. I could probably revisit it at some point, but that's kind of how I got to where I am with that. And I was pretty excited.
So with a title like Abandoned, it probably sounds like a thriller, but what genre is it?
It's a thriller horror. I mean, I had a different title for it, and I was really, just to give you a little bit of my taste, Hereditary was one of my favorite films. Even though I found it very disturbing, and I won't watch it 12 different times, I watched it twice, but that kind of more dread than, say, a jump scare, more psychological, and dealing with social issues, or dealing with, the human condition, more than, say, like a Freddy or a Jason slasher kind of film.
No, practical horror, where it's things people deal with every day in their life. Because life can be scary.
Scarier to me than anything else.
Yeah.
You know, and writers write what they know, and so you always take from personal experience. And this, the idea actually came from a story my mom always told growing up, of this mean man, with the scripts based around that my little brother saw when he was a little boy, and he'd say, "Mommy, make the mean man go away." And it gives me chills now even saying that. And so that's the story she always told. They were living in Texas, and she would hear doors slam, and that's what he said. My brother at like 4 years old, and that's kind of where that idea started for this script. So
it's almost like family folklore.
Yeah, a little bit. That's probably no one's ever said that, but that's probably a good way to put it. And you know, I have a lot to draw from my childhood. Not that I had a great childhood, don't get me wrong, but just strange things like that happened a lot to my mother, and she's shared a lot of that with me. So
family is a great source of inspiration, because you have these shared experiences, and those shared experiences get told multiple times throughout the years with your family, and they almost become legends. And that sounds a lot like what's going on there.
Definitely. Yeah, it's been good fodder. And, you know, you kind of take it and make it. That was the only inspiration. Everything else that happens in the script did not happen to my family. That was just my jumping off place, because it's definitely gets pretty dark. But to me, the reason I think I was always drawn to horror, and I read a lot about horror. I read a lot of articles. I read a lot of watch a lot of docs, stuff like that. And it's a safe place that you can deal with fears. You can deal with the human condition, things like that, in a safe place. And it gets you to that point of fear, or to that point of how would I deal with this situation. And it's kind of an addictive thing. You talk to anyone that loves the horror thriller genre, that's what draws them in, is you get into that space, like, how would I deal with this situation, or how would it feel to get that close? And there's something about that it's very alluring. So look at me, and no one ever thinks I'm in horror. I'm a girly girl, but that's just how I roll.
so Cammie, so the synopsis is what of the film?
So at the time I wrote it, I was living in Charleston, South Carolina. So the South is a very romantic place. So that's where I set it in Savannah, which is one of my probably top 5 favorite cities.
Oh, yeah.
I visited there a lot. I love Savannah. So it's set in Savannah, which, you know, in an indie film, you can set it anywhere really. If someone's willing to produce it, you set it where it needs to be set.
Yeah.
But, you know, for the romance I chose that. And it's about a family strange things start happening to the little girl. She's a little girl named Vivian. She's 5 or 6. And she starts talking to this imaginary friend. And at first they think it's, you know, no big deal. And then it just starts escalating and she starts saying strange things and he wants to stay around. And then the sister and the mom start seeing things. And there's dark things happening in the family. The dad got in an accident and fell off the wagon. And the mom's a successful CEO trying to keep the family together. So there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of family dynamic. And then they bring in a priest and then they bring in a reverend and they're trying to get rid of this evil entity once he actually, and the little girl can't leave the house because in horror, you have to contain it, right? You can't be able to run away easily or leave easily. That's how you keep the dread going. And so how I did that was the entity won't let the little girl leave. So someone always has to be there with her and they basically fight her. It's like 2-location film.
So it's a film or it's a screenplay that someone's going to, since you won the award, they're going to produce a film out of it?
Well, that would be lovely. But I cannot name the production company, but I do have a production company in Burbank, California, female owned, that is looking at my script right now. So.
Wow.
That's exciting.
So how long would the film be? Do you know?
Yes. It's feature length and each page is about a minute. So I just finished another edit yesterday and sent it out to a few other production companies and it's probably 78 minutes.
Okay.
Wow.
Which is perfect. Yeah. For a horror film, that's, unless you're a well-known and you can write The Shining or something, or you're not going to go much longer than that for horror, especially for your first time.
So if the film company buys your script, is that how you say it? They buy your script to produce a film?
Yeah, they produce it. Yeah.
And so I've always wondered, do they have the rights then to edit it?
It just depends what I know, and I don't pretend to know everything about the film industry, but I've been learning for the last 5+ years. It's whatever deal you make with them. They can buy the rights. I am registered with the WGA, Writers Guild of America. That's always smart to do, so someone can't plagiarize your script. But it just depends on the deal you make with them. And a lot of times they'll buy a script and you won't be involved at all. And they'll hire another writer to come in and make changes. Or if you're very lucky, they will keep you on and you can come to the set and you'll get to edit your script along the way. Just depends on, the deal.
Mm-hmm. So my question is, so if they buy this and whether they can edit it or not, will you get royalties?
Again, if you, I don't have an agent, I don't have representation right now, an agent or a manager. Usually you start with a manager and you grow into an agent. But if this were to get produced, even on a small level, say they paid me $5,000 for the script and it was a $250,000 indie budget. Now I have a credential that I can go and I can market myself to try and get a manager. And then you just grow from there. And of course, that's my hope. But the first time I'd probably take whatever deal I could get because you need that first one. I mean, it's just like in real estate. You need that first one to give you that confidence to keep moving and get that representation.
So last night we watched Saving Mr. Banks, which is about Mary Poppins, and it's about Walt Disney buying Pamela Travers' script that she wrote for Mary Poppins. And so she was on set when they were doing the editing, and she wouldn't sign the contract until she went through what they were going to edit and how they were going to do things. And Walt Disney wanted to put in the dancing penguins, which were animated, and she said the deal's off. And she was from England. She packed up her bags. She went back to England. And Walt Disney, just a side story, he had promised his children 20 years prior that he was going to produce this show called Mary Poppins, because he had read the book way back then. And it was really interesting because he went to England and convinced her to come back and let him do the free edits, and they made some changes that she wanted, because it was about her family and her upbringing. Which, I didn't know that. For instance, Mary Poppins' father was, in real life, her father, who was an alcoholic banker. And I don't know if you remember the banker, Mr. Banks, right? Saving Toppins, and things like that. But finally, she signed over the rights. She signed the piece of paper and signed over the rights. And the rest is history with Mary Poppins. But it was interesting to see how she could have walked away at any moment. You may get to that point. You may need to rewatch that movie, just because it shows you how much power you have if you were the creator.
Yeah, I would say if I was a Jordan Peele or an Ari Aster, they definitely have that kind of power where they say, this is the script, you're not going to change it. For me, I would probably, especially if I didn't have representation yet, and I learned this because as a writer, it's like, oh, this is my story. And, I want to maintain the integrity of everything, which is what she obviously got to do. But I think getting started in the business, you have to take what you can get. And I've learned that if they said, change this, we don't like this character, do this, you do it, or they'll move on to someone else. Because there's a bazillion writers out there that all want what you're going, they all want a deal. So I think, let's say in 10 years, I've got 5 or 6 films made or something. Then I would definitely be in that position where I could say, okay, maintain the integrity of my script. I'm an award-winning screenwriter. These are all my dreams. I'm trying to manifest them right now. And I'll save you a seat at the Oscars. That's my ultimate.
Yes.
Cool. Obviously. I might be 65, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter. So, Rocky, the movie Rocky, says Sylvester Stallone wrote the script. And I forget how many companies he submitted it to and how many rewrites he did constantly to get it, because he really believed in the story. And when they finally accepted it, now he had to sell his dog to live, right? I think he pawned his dog. And anyway, so long story short, if you don't know the story, he ended up selling his script for not that much money. He wanted to play the character, and then he wanted a royalty, and that's where he made I forget the millions of dollars that first film made. And they had bought it for, and I think I'm correct, they had bought it for under $100,000.
Right.
But he wanted to play the character. That was his dream. So maybe someday you'll be on stage.
Oh my gosh. I guess I could. But I love that Rocky story, and that has inspired me many times. And I know a few weeks back, Jimmy told that whole story from, beginning to end. And that has always inspired me. And I'm going to reveal my age now. But that won the Oscar the year I was born. And I've always loved that story. He literally was just like me, just another normal person out there trying to write. And I have a friend in Charleston, and her son has been trying to produce rap, and he didn't want to go the traditional college route. And the kid is good. He's really good. And she's told him for years, why not me? And so that's one of my other little mantras. Why not me? You have to start somewhere. It's no different than someone is successful in real estate. They started this deal and then they just kept moving. And it's a business. I am trying to run a business, my side hustle, as we call it, right?
Yes, right. That's what I call it. Your side hustle.
You're trying to, you're running a business, you're marketing yourself, you're branding. That's why when I listen to your shows every day from 9 to 9:30 right here. I'll plug for you. I've learned a lot about branding and social media and, all kinds of things. I even started a Gratitude Friday where I just woke up one day and I said, you know what am I grateful for? And I've been really trying to get a little more out there on social media, which is not my first love, I'll be honest. But I thought, if nothing else, I'm sending out positive vibes, even if no one ever watches it. It's a great thing to do. And it made me feel good. And, I've got some families and friends watching them. And I'm on Instagram now, which is totally new for me. So I'm very excited about that. And you got to start somewhere. You got to start getting a little bit of traction. And I've been very inspired by listening to you for a myriad of reasons, but specifically for this, just to keep my, my little side hustle business going.
So I have another tip for you, Cammie, today. Gary Vee does Tea with Gary Vee, and he doesn't do it every day, but almost every day. And when you go on his show, it says at the bottom, if you use your phone, go on Facebook, it'll say, text us why you should be on the show. Now, he's very much into sports people, to rappers, to people in the industry of movies and singing and things like that, in addition to sports. He's kind of shied away right now from a lot of social media things because he does his deep dive where you go to New York and you sit around the table with 10 other people that paid $10,000 to be there for 2 days, right? But what you can do is you can text him why you want to be on his show, and you need to ask him a question like, Gary, how can I further my my film career, or whatever the pertinent question is that you want him to answer. This guy's brilliant. Things come to his head instantly. It's like he's such an old soul. It's like he's lived 100 different lives in 100 different categories, because he can always come up with the right way to do things or help you. He will say, hey, I know he may say, I'm doing advertising for MGM or for, who knows who. And it's not MGM. Who's the filmmaker? Well, there's so many of them, and he may know some of them, and he may just give you, and that's the way Gary is. That's why everybody loves him, because he's so giving. He just wants to help people. And so I would ask you just, maybe 2-3 times a week, text him to say, this is why I want to be on your show. I'd like to know your advice, because it's an Ask Gary Vee pretty much, even though it says Tea with Gary Vee. And I would do that. You have no idea where that could lead. It's an opportunity. Why not take it?
I love that. I 100% will. That's another thing you learn is you have to try everything. And in this kind of industry, you have to try everything. I'm on a bunch of different websites where my script is hosted. That's how that production company in Burbank found my script. If I hadn't been on the website and I didn't pay to be there, and I didn't post my script there, no one would ever know who I was. And like I said, you only fail if you don't try, and you can't fail if you've put yourself out there.
So Cammie, we boost this show on Saturdays and it goes out to the United States to a particular we demographic it, but you never know. So you need to tell people right now how they could contact you in the event that they're interested in this script. Are you writing another script, or you never know where it could lead?
Yeah, thanks, Ruth. I'm actually in the middle. I'm 20 pages in which is about a third of the way to a TV series. It's a little less horror, a little more thriller. It's called Veiled, and it's set in Northern California in a fictitious town. So it's all about winery, money, and there's serial killer involved. So I'm really excited about that. It's definitely not who you would think it is. But again, human condition and TV is so interesting right now because it's so many layers of intrigue. It's all about, binge watching, right? And right now it's still a great time. So I'm trying to finish that up too. And I do have a few connections in the industry that I'm trying to capitalize on. I am obviously on Facebook, Cammie Mosley, Turpin in parentheses. I'm on Instagram, CAM_Mosley, MOSLEYLV. I am on LinkedIn. I I've been working on a website for a long time. I'm not there yet, so I don't know. Maybe I can use Agent Formula for my website. I really need a website, and that's one of the things I am lacking. And I'm on Twitter at WineN Whore Lover, and that's about it. Like I said, I need to get that website, and I did think maybe Kane, can I do that at Agent Formula? Does it have to be real?
Oh, we know some people that might be able to help you.
Yeah, we have a great web developer on our staff, and he's done some websites for some of my friends in Florida, and he's really good. If you have a good idea, the most important thing about websites and what you're doing is the photography. And if you have good photography or good videos, or that's what's going to make the difference. There's so many people out there that have websites that, like, they sell flowers or whatever, and company A is just doing fantastic and filling thousands of orders, and company B, which is doing the same flowers to the same demographic, can't sell. They can't even pay for the advertising they're doing. And if you look at the two websites, it's all in the visual presentation. So we cannot pick that for you, because that's who you are. So it's very important, if you want us to do the website, that you get good photography, good graphics, good pictures, or if you have a little video you want to feature on it, I would recommend that as well.
I'm writing all this down. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I got some good pointers from you guys today.
So I have some fun questions for you. Let's do like a little what if scenario for your screenplay here. So with Abandon, you talk about the little girl and her parents. Do you have anyone in your head playing these characters when you're developing the script?
Let me think. I do for my TV series, because I had to do a whole thing called the TV Pitch Bible. So basically, you have to pick actors that you would like to see in those roles. If I had to pick someone right now, honestly, the little girl in my head is a little girl from Poltergeist, a mix between her and my daughter, she's 11 and she's got long blonde hair, and she's always like, "Mom, I want to play Vivian." And I said, well, if it does get produced, I'm not sure I have much pull in who plays what, but
that's cute.
Yeah, she's an actress. I mean, she's in musical theater. The girl could do it. She has no fear. So I don't really have anyone beyond that, but that's probably, when I'm writing it, they are characters, but their faces are more, I would say, ordinary than a big, not ordinary, but everyday rather than a big star. So I hadn't really thought about that for this.
Mm-hmm. What about music? Do you ever listen to a certain type of music? Like, if you could pick any one song to be in the soundtrack, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Actually, I do. When I write, I listen to, there's a station on Pandora that is called Halloween Theme Main Title. And so it just plays instrumental horror themes. So that's what I listen to when I write. But it's very great. It's inspirational. What song would I... I've been listening to a lot of CCR for some reason recently. So maybe there would be a section where Midnight Special would be decent, where the little girl and her brother are dancing around the living room. That would be a good song for that. So I would say that would be a decent, just to not go, there's tons of mainstream top 40 songs right now I love, but I think for the genre of this film, it would work great.
Yeah.
Are you on TikTok?
I am on TikTok. I've never posted any videos, but I do watch it. Actually, I've been in a few. I take that back. She's taught me a few dances, and I am on TikTok. I fail to mention that. So yes.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going. I'm not sure I like TikTok, only because China owns it, and I was on it for a while. I think last fall, and then I just stopped posting on it. But I love the different things that you can do with it. Because
they say, if you want people to watch you, especially on TikTok, you have to either entertain or educate.
Yes.
And or there's this couple on there, and all she does is tell her husband a joke, and they have this little shtick they do. She tells the joke, he looks at her, they both crack up, and then he goes, "Get out of here." And it's, I think, Loper Lady, Loper, and they're hilarious. And they have 2 million followers.
Wow.
And all she does is tell a joke. And and their laughs are contagious. So a lot of it's character, you know, but they're entertaining. So you watch them. And I watch a lot of babies on TikTok. I love the little kids that talk and say cute things.
I think Twitter and Facebook are probably your two best channels for you to get yourself out there.
Yeah.
And I just thought of something. 2 years ago, John sold a house to a gentleman whose last name was the same as yours. And he's in the film industry in Hollywood, and he travels back and forth. And I'm thinking, why didn't I think of that? Then I'm thinking, oh my God, they have the same last name. How can that
There's
be?
a connection there, Ruthie.
Yeah, there's got to be. There's got to be.
So I'm going to give you his phone number, or I'm going to let him contact you if he's interested, or if he knows people. I mean, he does know people. So we'll see where that goes.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah, Twitter actually is one of the best I would say after Facebook is definitely the place where writers, and I have, you know, pretty big production companies and film fests and people, a couple stars that follow me on Twitter. I don't have a ton of followers, but the more I do on Twitter and the more I announce, and when I got included in this, when I won this best screenplay, I got a bunch of new followers just because of that. And now you have film fests that follow you. And I don't know if you remember, this is my claim to fame on Twitter. Scott Farkas from A Christmas Story. Do you guys know that character?
No.
He's the one that got his tongue stuck on the pole, right?
No, this was the bad guy, like the bully.
Oh, this is the bully with the yellow eyes. He has yellow eyes.
He follows me on Twitter. And I can't remember his real name, which is awful. But he does horror. He just wrote, I think he co-wrote Terror on Hallows Eve. So that's my claim to fame on Twitter. But it's weird. The more you do on Twitter, the more, and there's all kinds of writing groups, and that's a great place for writers.
It is. Yeah. And Cammie, how do you fit this into your day job? Because I know you work very hard at your day job, and you help real estate agents during the weekend. And how do you fit it all in? And I know you have a family, and I know your parents live with you. How do you do this?
I don't know. And again, my life coach, she was so great.
Oh, we lost her.
Oh no,
Cammie. We lost you, dear.
Yeah.
Your internet.
Got a lot on her plate, and to have time to write something like that. That's just incredible, because not only creating ideas requires personal time, but getting it down and refining it is it's a very hard process.
Yes. Yeah.
You trying to get Cammie back?
Yeah, but I don't think she's going to come back.
Okay. One of the things Cammie does, she's with AHG, American Home Guardian. That's a home warranty company, and she sponsors all our agent formula classes. And she's very generous with her sponsorships. Are you okay there, Ruthie?
I don't know. I walked too much this morning, and my allergies are going crazy. Sorry, everybody.
And every time we do classes, I send out a list of our classes to sponsors, and Cammie she's just like, sign me up for all the classes. And she sponsors our classes. She feeds the agents. She does her little pitch, and she's been very successful with her business. And it's been very beneficial for both her and us.
Yes. Yeah. She's very good. And she just, I don't know, home warranty companies come and go, and their level of service changes. Because with property management, we've used a lot of them over the years. We've tried them. We're not afraid to try people. But Cammie's one of the best. Yeah. AHG is really good, to the point that we bought it for our own home. So
nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And when we find our place, we're going to use her too.
So Kane, I think we can wrap it up. I think Karen wants to tell us that the market is looking up, And
Nice.
Marissa says that there are lots of buyers out there.
Well,
And
there's lots of buyers, but how's the inventory?
and Miss Cookie made her first sale. Yay!
Yeah.
Yay. So that's all good, everybody. And let's, we have a class. I'm going to pitch it on Monday. We're going to do law and legislation, which is such a boring subject, but Jimmy Dag and I make it pretty interesting. And there's some new laws that you need to know about, because where are you going to go to find this stuff? The legislature, meets every 2 years, and they have quite a compendium of laws that they put together. A lot of them about the service dogs, and about the real estate. And anyway, it'll be so interesting Monday, and it's 2 to 5. And speaking of Cammie's going to provide refreshments and appetizers for the last part of the class. So I don't want to call it a happy hour, but it will be happy. And we're, like I said, she's going to provide refreshments, and she might have some wine and cheese.
Ooh.
I think that's on her mind. So we hope to see everybody on Monday. And next week, Kane and I are doing the first new Facebook advertising class. It is Wednesday and Thursday from 10 to 1. Cut it back to 6 hours from 12 hours. And instead of you grueling through creating the ad, we are creating the ads for you so that you don't have to do that. And then they are yours, and you will have 6 ads. And then if you want more, we have a compendium menu of other ads you can pick from. So we look forward to, we can only take a few people in that class. So we still have a couple spots left. I haven't really advertised it that much, except on my show. I haven't really put out a lot of advertising on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. So this is our first one. And what?
First one.
First one. And we think you're really going to like it. It's very different. If you've taken our other classes, this is very different. We do teach you some basics that you have to know so that you can utilize the ads. And the videos, we're giving you 20 marketing videos, and we're going to teach you how to use those. So exciting week coming up, Kay. We got lots of work to do. And you're having your first video production day on Friday too.
Yeah, first one with the new equipment. Yes, we got a teleprompter set up and new LED lights. We used to have those big old studio lights. You turn them on, it raised the room 10 degrees in like 5 minutes. It tripped the circuit breakers and knocked out power in half the building. So we got some new lights. We got a new teleprompter, and we kind of redid the room a little bit. We brought the green screen out so we can get a little bit of a wider shot. I've got 2 appointments for Friday, and I'm probably going to pop into the office later today to set up the new equipment.
Oh, nice.
And get the battery. Did we buy batteries? No, we didn't buy batteries, so they just plug in.
Yeah.
So don't have to worry about charging batteries. But I want to get those lights up and play with them and get the room set up so somebody can walk in. I plug my camera onto the tripod, and we go.
We go. Yes. Yeah. And we have the scripts, or you can bring your own script.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. But it's much easier with our scripts because we're professionals.
We're getting there. We're getting there. So busy week for us. We've got CE class and law on Monday. Wednesday, Thursday, we have our Facebook ad class, and Friday is video production. And you can find all these items at bee.vegas. You can go there and you'll see the signups for those, and sign up. And we look forward to seeing you this week. It's going to be a great week, the last week of July. Woohoo! And it's been cool all week. I love that. Love everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Hang on, Kane.